So I wanted to share just some active listening tips. This is coming up because I failed to do this in a moment when it was needed. And so I was reminding myself, and I thought this would be really helpful to just share what it really looks like to deeply listen to someone. And no judgment, because we're all human and we're all just trying to figure this out, right? But ultimately, each one of us really crave more intimate connection. And so, how can we cultivate that more in our lives with our loved ones? And it's through active listening and asking some really good questions that really prompt us to, be more open and deeper with people. And if anybody doesn't know me by now, I like to go deep with conversations and emotions that get really put off by things that don't matter. And by no means do I ever want to hear someone when I ask them how are they doing and respond with fine, because you're not fine. And I genuinely care if I'm asking. And so I think most people really do want to connect and talk about these things more, and have, just deeper connections with each other. And so with active listening, when someone's needing to really be heard, like, it's a really great time to practice this active listening skill. And it's a couple of things to remind yourself when you're listening, being the listener, is to try to focus on eye contact, and just truly listening to all of the words that they have to say, while remembering it's not personal. It's got nothing to do with you, and that they're just sharing whatever's coming up for them. It might have something to do with you or not, but it's not personal. So you don't get to play that role. The only role you're playing here is to listen, and with a non-judgmental perspective. And so as you're listening and paying attention to eye contact, when they're done or when they've paused, is a great time to repeat back to them what you just heard them say. And a really great thing to say is, what I just heard you say was whatever, your summary. You can include, it felt like this or this or this. This is helpful for two reasons. One, it shows that person that you were really listening, and they feel seen, heard, and that is just so impactful, right? I mean, ultimately, we really just want to be seen, for someone to acknowledge us and where we're at in the moment. And so it's so powerful and healing just to be able to serve in that role for someone, especially a loved one or someone that's close to you that's feeling like they need someone to listen to them in the moment. And then the other thing that it's doing is also providing a mirror back to them as to what they just said. Like, maybe they didn't realize that it sounded like that. Or maybe you didn't actually hear it correctly, and they're like, no, it's actually more like this. Oh, I see now. I get that now. It really helps for connection on a deeper level and mutual understanding. So those are a couple of things when we're doing active listening that are really helpful. Like I said, there's no judgment because it's all a practice. But I think if we can all just practice this a little bit more deeply, it really helps for us to connect more deeply. And a book's coming to mind, I'm reading it right now. It's called Conflict Equals Energy by Jason Diggs. And really great techniques in there to just communicate more authentically with each other. And that's really makes such a big difference, dropping into more authenticity, speaking from our heart versus our head. And it's all just really important things as we evolve and grow and want to connect with each other more deeply, have just better relationships. So I hope those tips are helpful to you as we navigate this life together.